America's hallmarks are the separation of church and state, and the public school system. One gives freedom of religion, the other freedom to learn. Once firm, recently each has eroded, resulting in fundamentalist Christianity having an influence in the schools. Part of the fundamentalist way into the school system is deception perpetrated by right-wing think tanks like the Heritage Foundation. Methods to allow religious proselytizing in schools is drawn up then delivered in code words about a different issue. An example would be the school choice legislation that affects 200,000 school children nationwide. Rachel Tabachnik, a researcher, writer, and speaker on issues about the religious right's influence on politics and education, had this to say about the school voucher program.
These school voucher and private school choice programs that are advertised as somehow improving education through competition, which are actually stripping the resources and finances out of public education.
Many of the schools in the program are Christian schools that get their textbooks from Abeka and Bob Jones University Press publications, meaning public funds are being spent to send children to schools with textbooks that say the Ku Klux Klan in some areas of the country try to be a means of reform, fighting the decline in morality and using the symbol of the cross. This is what she has to say on why these textbooks gain popularity.
The big states like Texas and California make requirements to textbook publishers. These are textbooks that are likely to be available then to the other states around the country.
Another aspect where we see fundamentalists gaining positions that give them leverage over public curriculum is organized religious groups in Erie, Illinois pressured the school board into banning a children's book called The Family Book because in one page it mentions that some families have two moms and dads. Texas Board of Education passed changes to the state's history books that question the separation of church and state and removed the term slavery from the history books, replacing it with Atlantic Triangular Trade.
One of the places that we're seeing the greatest impact is the work being done at the state level.
Several school districts have considered or implemented no promo homo measures over the last 20 years, which seek to ban discussion of homosexuality in a positive light. Many states have enacted abstinence-only programs, which allow fundamentalist groups inside the classroom during the school day. These groups have federal funding up to $50 million a year. According to researchers for Representative Henry Waxman, the information provided in these programs are up to 80% false. Some programs claim condoms have a 30% failure rate and that HIV, HPV, and syphilis are small enough to pass through latex. Areas with the highest concentration of mandated abstinence-only programs have the highest teen pregnancy and STD infection rates in the country. Even the United States Supreme Court is susceptible, primarily with the Good News Club versus Milford decision, which forces schools to allow church groups to operate inside the school walls if they let any groups at all, saying that all religious speech must be protected under the First Amendment, and peer pressure is not something that happens among elementary school children.
Talking about grammar school children who are being told by other children that their beliefs are wrong, that their families are wrong, that their families are going to hell. And so this is something that is very painful.
The proprietor of the Good News Club Child Evangelist Fellowship, CEF, has opened 3,439 such clubs throughout the country. They almost exclusively target children in the K-6 public schools due to the 4 to 14 window, the age where most children convert to Christianity. Matthew Staver and Dr. Ronnie Floyd, higher-ups with CEF, say the goal is to reclaim and infiltrate public schools.
What ends up happening when these clubs come into some schools is that they're creating a great deal of division in a community between neighbors that was not there before the clubs began to aggressively proselytize in the community.
There are multiple ways to reach children with the mindsets described. One strategy is to be perfectly clear with the entire class that the classroom is an environment free of discrimination. meant for the purpose of serving every child's needs, regardless of each one's personal beliefs. Another way would be to stress empathy between children with disagreements, stressing that people are allowed their own beliefs and being different does not equal being wrong. Fostering an attitude of respect is essential for building a healthy learning environment. Students should be allowed to speak their mind and be challenged, but it is never acceptable to stress to the class or any one student that an expressed belief is wrong. It's also essential as an educator to keep your own beliefs private. It isn't professional or fair to press your own beliefs onto your students. Instead, it's best to act as a facilitator for a variety of thought amongst a diverse student body.